So now you know the importance of setting up your hiring goals and how to execute them. What next? Let's move on to the second step of launching a successful search: attracting the industry's best talent. For those of you who haven't done much hiring lately, you may not know that we are in what's called a candidate-driven market. This means that the top candidates are being recruited far more heavily than they were even just a few years ago. And consequently, they can be incredibly selective about the roles they choose to explore. So how does that affect you? Well, as an employer who is competing for their attention, or should be, it means that you're going to have to zig when everyone else is zagging. So how do you do that? You came to the right place. We have plenty of proven techniques that we can't wait to show you. But for this video, let's stick to just the things that you can do before the interviews begin. We'll start by addressing the three most unsuspecting and commonly overlooked elements of your employer brand that can pack a whole lot of punch. Hint, your employer isn't the only one overlooking them either. First, your job posting. Second, the job requirements and preferences. And third, compensation and benefits. These are unsuspecting, right? I know, but let's dig in. These three have the potential to do big things for you and your employer brand. Let me show you what I mean. Your job posting. In many cases, this is the candidate's first touch point. So what message does it send? Does it attract, engage, excite, or does it exclude, underwhelm, or simply bore? These postings need to engage, they need to excite, and they need to attract great candidates. If you're worried that your job postings aren't effectively engaging the right talent, then get with your team and work to make this happen. At the end of this video, you can download an example to help breathe life into your next job posting. Next, let's look at your job requirements and preferences. These are very, very different from one another and can dramatically impact the outcome of your search. Most employers have job requirements that look something like this: 4-year college degree, 3 to 5 years of outside sales experience, and a clean driving record. But then there are those attributes that you've seen in some of your best people. These might be things that you really like to see, but can potentially compromise on. Things like history of developing and leading President's Club winners, experience effectively managing independent sales teams, a sound understanding of the VA and government system landscape, experience selling into the value analysis committee, and other things like it. In most cases, these attributes are preferences, not requirements. It's important to distinguish between the two because decisions like these can cause ripple effects. Take FloodGate, for example. We examined thousands of completed searches that have been conducted over the last 10 years, and we're able to draw this conclusion. Every major requirement implemented shrinks the talent pool by roughly 20%. But that's good, right? You're thinking? I don't want to see 100 candidates. I only want to see the top 5. And you'd be partially right in thinking this way. However, what you really want to see are the 5 best candidates, not just the 5 who happen to be still standing after all the eliminations were made. So if you sense that you're missing really strong candidates, it may be the result of poorly designed job requirements. Nail down the difference between the two, and you'll liberate your recruiting partners to bubble up the highest potential talent instead of excluding candidates based on rigid, unnecessary requirements. We'll cover more of this in one of our future modules, so stay tuned for that. Our last unsuspecting element for attracting the industry's best talent involves your comp and benefits package. Have you ever pursued a candidate only to have them turn down your offer because it wasn't competitive enough? It's got to be one of the most frustrating things to go through as a hiring manager, and we've gone through them ourselves. In some instances, the candidate was just out of your league and you shouldn't have pursued him in the first place. But in other times, you had the right candidate and failed to produce enough compelling data to get them on the boat. They may have taken the offer, but there just wasn't enough evidence to move them over the buying line. The good news, you don't have to risk losing another great candidate. When we begin working with a new client, this is typically the comp and benefits information they use during the recruitment process. A published base salary range, a variable IC plan, and car and auto plan. Looks fine, right? And for those candidates who are actively on the job market, this might be all they need. However, the guy or gal who's crushing it, busy doing what they're doing, what they really want to know is, can I blow it out? What can you offer above and beyond what's published for a top performer like me? Or what's the percentage of the team who's actually hitting these numbers? Proactively addressing these questions and others like them will give you what it's going to take to attract the elite talent. We have a laundry list of comp and benefit details that we'd strongly push our clients to produce. If you'd like to download a copy of that list, you can do that at the end of this video. Here's the thing. You can't be afraid to give the top candidates a look inside, even if the numbers aren't incredible, because let's face it, many times they're not. Candidates will appreciate your transparency and respect you more for it. Glassdoor just conducted a survey indicating 75% of job seekers are more likely to take a job whose employer is transparent and honest about what it's like to work there. Don't leave it up to the candidates to be detectives. Be the brand ambassador your top candidates want to work for.